you have to actively work on changing your mindset. It's not just about letting go of the negative thoughts. It's about making sure that you remind yourself that the reason you're doing this, the reason you're waking up at 5 a.m. to get your workout in and you're meal prepping on the weekends instead of staying on the couch and watching TV is because you know that your daughter or your son is going to pick up on these habits. Welcome to the VetRise Podcast. I'm your host, Juan Perez. My goal is to make success after service accessible to every veteran in society. I believe in the power of leveraging your service, not as a label that defines you, but as a launching pad for your next chapter. What we have been doing hasn't been working, and it's on us to start changing the culture. Enjoy the episode, and thank you for your time. Today, we're going to be talking about the words that you use for yourself, the things that you say to yourself, how you speak to yourself. It's true. It's very simple. So whatever language you use for yourself, both internal and external, out loud and inside your head, it's true. It's very simple. So if you have told yourself for the longest, I'm just a night owl, or I'm just a terrible sleeper, or if when you wake up in the morning, you look yourself in the mirror and you tell yourself inside of your head without saying it out loud, like, I'm just not a morning person, right? Or if you tell yourself, like, I don't like being around people, or, I would never be really good at that because I'm not good at going to the gym, or I don't like being around people, or I could never do meal prep because I don't have the discipline, or because of my situation, because of what I'm going through right now, I could never go to the gym 5 days a week, or I could never be the type of person that actually gets 10,000 steps a day. It's not what I can do right now. Like, whatever you tell yourself is true, no matter how you look at it. So whatever you tell yourself is true, no matter how you look at it. And the reason why this is important to talk about, because whatever you think will actually become true. You can manifest, you can try and tell yourself that, well, one day things will get better. But the thing is, you are creating the life for yourself by the thoughts that you're putting into your head. Like, if you tell yourself, well, I'm just not good at this, so what? You'll get better at it. But if you keep repeating it out loud or even in your head, you're not going to get better at it. I wasn't good at walking when I was a baby. I didn't fucking give up. I kept trying to walk. You're not good at stuff just because you're not good at it in the moment. You're not good at getting to bed on time and sleeping because of bad habits that you have created for yourself. And when you say, I'm not a this, or I can't do that, it's your way of taking ownership away from what you're doing, what you've been doing, and putting it on something else. Because then we don't feel bad about it, right? Nobody wants to feel bad about it. You just tell yourself, like, well, it's just not something that I can do. Or if you tell yourself, like, I could never get that job because, I don't have the experience for that, then freaking get the experience. Like, if you've always told yourself this one thing because either you believe it or somebody put that on you and then you believed that, the only way to change it is by doing something about it. So whether it's something that you have told yourself about yourself that you've just believed for the longest, or it's something that was put on you by your family, by your mom, by your dad, by a friend. And nobody gets to dictate who you are. Nobody. Not even your parents. Because they did it possibly consciously. They didn't do it in a ill will type of way. They weren't trying to do it to hurt you. But it's just the way that life was back then. Things were different. I'm sure we're passing stuff off to our kids right now that they're going to have to heal from as well. But the point is that we don't want that to be the case. So if in your life, in your head, if you hear somebody on repeat, get them the freak out of your head. If for some reason you were surrounded by people in your past that told you that you had limitations, or if for some reason you are still finding yourself around people who are telling you that you can't do this or you can't do that because of something that they believe, that is about them, not about you. So you guys are all here, you're showing up, you're being present, you are actually giving a damn about your life, you're trying to change your circumstances, you're trying to change the trajectory of your life. You committed to this, you are committed to the process. But that little voice in the back of your head keeps telling you, oh, you know what? At least you did one workout this week. Maybe you didn't do all 5, but you know what? At least you did one, because that's just all that you can do right now. That's all you've ever been good for. Or, oh, you know what? At least you are doing some of the meal prep, but you're not doing all of it. Because you know what? I just can't. I have a family. I have a daughter. I have all these things in my life, and I can't do it because if I do that, then I'm neglecting them. Who says that? Like who? I'm sure it's not them. Because in my opinion, you taking care of yourself and you deciding that you're going to eat healthy so you can teach them how to eat healthy. So you can be here to walk your daughter down the aisle one day. So you can be here when your son decides to get married and he asks for your blessing. So you can be here to be able to raise your grandkids. Because if you think that they need you to self-sabotage, you know what's going to happen. You're going to get unhealthy. They're going to have to take care of you. They're going to have to decide what to do when you get so sick that you're bedridden. They're going to have to decide what to do when you're so sick that they have to figure out your will because you didn't take care of yourself now. And by the way, if you're new here, this is the way that we do it. And I'm not calling you out. This is not tough love. This is the reality of the situation that we have told ourselves for the longest. And if we don't change our perspective, change our story, change the way that we talk to ourselves, it's never going to change. It'll stay stuck. You'll stay in the mud. You'll stay in shit. And when you stay in shit long enough, the shit stops to smell so much that you think it's normal. You keep telling yourself these little lies and you start believing them. And before you know it, it's no longer a lie. It becomes your reality. And this is me telling you, not only does it need to stop, but you need to flip the freaking switch. You need to talk to yourself like you are someone you love. You need to talk to yourself like you are in charge of yourself and you are actually trying to take care of yourself. And if you want more for your life, you better act like it because your kids watch. Your husband sees what you're doing. Your wife lets you lead yourself so you can lead the family. But if you don't treat yourself like the hero of your own story, if you don't decide to wake up every morning and look in the mirror and tell yourself, today's going to be the best day ever, then it's not. It's going to be mediocre. Because when you don't aim at anything, you have no idea where you are aiming for. Because if you're in the negatives and you don't tell yourself, today is going to be freaking amazing, I'm going to have the best day ever, I am amazing, I love myself, today is going to be a great day, then you are not aiming at anything. You will just do okay. And we don't want to do okay. We want to do amazing. We want to do better. And life hasn't always been this way. Life is very unfair, if you will. But is it though? Or is that just your mindset? It's all about self-responsibility. We all have the power of choice. Have we allowed negative people into our lives? And have those negative people started to create this negative voice in our head that for some reason doesn't shut the hell up? It's because we allow it to talk. It's because we allow the negative self-talk to permeate our brain because we don't have enough positive mindset. When you don't aim at anything, you are going to end up in a place that you didn't want to be. You have to actively work on changing your mindset. It's not just about letting go of the negative thoughts. It's about making sure that you remind yourself that the reason you're doing this, the reason you're waking up at 5 a.m. to get your workout in and you're meal prepping on the weekends instead of staying on the couch and watching TV is because you know that your daughter or your son is going to pick up on these habits. And 10 or 20 years from now, when they might be in your shoes, they're going to look back and they're either going to say one of two things. They're either going to say, damn, because of my mom or because of my dad, I don't know how to cook in the kitchen and all I ever do is eat out, or all I ever do is eat all this greasy food because that's the way that they taught me how to eat. Damn, I don't know how to properly maintain a relationship because my mom or my dad was always sacrificing herself or himself for me. Damn, I have really bad habits because growing up, I saw my mom and dad always resorting to the bottle whenever they were feeling down about something. Damn, I always sneak off for this cigarette because I know that my dad used to sneak away for a cigarette in the middle of his day. And I knew it. I would smell the smoke coming back. That's why I picked up the habit. Or the flip side. I'm thankful that my mom actually take care of herself. And now she's here helping me with my grandchild because she gets to help me see what beautiful life I'm creating. All right, let's stop for a minute. This is the part of the episode where I ask you to do me a favor, but it's not a favor for me. It's a favor for your fellow brothers and sisters that served with you. Do me a favor. Think hard and share this podcast with someone that you think would benefit from it. If you know someone that has been struggling, if you know someone that is going through it right now, and you know that they want better for life, they just don't know how to do it. If this podcast can help them, do it. That's it. That's my only ask. If you want to follow me, then great. You want to subscribe? Go for it. I appreciate you guys so much. Thank you for your time. Back to the episode. Or wow, I'm so thankful that I actually know how to make food in the kitchen because my parents actually meal prepped and they took care of me. And now I am in a healthy relationship with someone that actually cares about their health, and I'm not in some sort of abusive relationship because everything translates. Everything translates. Because if you abuse your body with the food that you put into it, then you're going to allow someone to come into your life and abuse you verbally, emotionally, physically, because you don't value your life the same way. Everything translates. And the reason we do this, the reason we take care of ourselves is because we want a better life for ourselves. And it's not just about ourselves. It's about our kids, our future kids if we don't have any yet, our possible partner that's out there waiting for us to meet us because they won't meet you until you are the best version of yourself. Because you attract who you are. And if you are broken, if you talk down to yourself, if you allow that negative voice in your head to be what controls you and tells you what to do, you're going to attract that in a partner. You're going to pull someone into your life that honestly doesn't really deserve to be there. And if people see you talk down to yourself and talk negatively to yourself and just be this version of yourself that doesn't really hold yourself in high esteem, you're giving them permission to do that as well. Whether you realize it or not, people watch. And they see how you treat yourself. And if you don't prop yourself up, if you don't give yourself permission to be the best version of yourself by truly celebrating who you are, inside and outside, and speaking power into your life, the rest of the world will just follow your cue. And if this is hitting home with you, I want to see you raise your hands. I want to see you freaking tell yourselves, like, this is exactly what I have been feeling. I just don't know how to say it. I see you guys. I know that you're going through it, but you're not alone. Now, some of you may have thought, well, this is about fitness only, or this is how I'm going to learn how to meal prep, or this is where, we show up and we do some coaching calls. No, like, I'm here to change your motherfucking life. I apologize if you have kids present, but I get passionate with it, so I hope you're wearing headphones. Because that's what I want for you. I didn't want to make my life a little bit better when I started making these changes in myself. I didn't want to, hopefully I lose a couple pounds, or hopefully maybe I cut down on my drinking, or hopefully I can kind of just smoke maybe half a pack instead of a full pack of cigarettes a day. No. Like, you have to want absolutely massive change, and you have to go after with everything you have. Because if you don't, you're not going to achieve it. You have to lean all the way in. You have to tell yourself, this is it. I've tried before and I failed. Why? Because I wasn't really in it. If you look at yourself right now, you are exactly where you are supposed to be at. And what does that mean? It means that all the decisions you made, the way that you've talked to yourself for all these years in your head, that's why you're here. Nobody else is doing. But I promise you, there is a lot of ownership in that, because that means that you can change your life. You can do things differently. You can change the trajectory of your life. You can course correct. Because if right now you are rowing and you have a boat and you have friends in there that are not rowing, get them the hell out of there. Remove people from your life that don't serve a purpose. Stop associating yourself with the people that just want to gossip. Because the same things that you allow yourself to tell yourself and tell yourself inside your head, when you hear that negative crap from people, that shit is poison to you. And if you hear your mom or your dad in the back of your head saying, well, you're not good enough, or mija, this is just the way that we do it, or mija, you have to do this, or mijo this, or dad this, or son this, or whatever it is, it's not their fault. That's how they were raised. They passed that on to you. And that generational shit now. We have the know, we have the wherewithal, we have the knowledge. We don't have to do the same thing our parents did. And it's not their fault. You have to understand them. You have to have compassion. Things were different then. They really were. We don't have any excuses. We all know much, much better now. We all know much, much better now. Times change. And unless we lean into it, unless we realize that we have to change as well, we have to stop talking down to ourselves. We have to stop being so freaking negative. We never will. So again, I ask you guys, watch what you say to yourselves. And don't just shut down the negative voice. Don't even think it. And I catch myself too. I catch myself all the time. Today, I was headed to the gym and I'm like, you know what? I'm feeling tired. I don't think I'm going to have a good workout. And I fucking caught myself. I'm like, what the hell is wrong with me? I just gave myself a prompt telling myself I'm not going to have a good workout. Like, no, that's not a reality. And I had a good workout because I forced myself to, because I wasn't going to prove myself right by having a bad workout because of what I told myself. Don't tell yourself like, well, this week, maybe I'll hit the gym. You're not going to hit the gym. You just gave yourself permission to fail. Don't tell yourself like, well, you know what? Next week, I'll have more time to meal prep. No, you're not. You need to create time. Well, I joined this program, but you know what? Maybe I'll lose 10 pounds instead of 20 that I really want to. You can lose the 20 if you really wanted to. Jeremiah's not here because Jeremiah is getting ready to take on the next chapter of his life. Jeremiah lost 80 pounds. 80 pounds, 80, from when he started with me in August. Jeremiah is getting ready to take on the next chapter of his life. And he shared about it, but I won't put him out there because it's up to him, right? But he has now been able to take on this amazing new role in his life. And he inspires the hell out of me. I was actually doing his transformation post today. I started working on it and I started tearing up. Victoria, you can tell him about this. But I started tearing up because I realized that he has done something amazing. He showed up. He did the workouts. He quit the bad habits that he had. He actually started meal prepping, eating the right foods consistently. His neighbors told him that they didn't even recognize him anymore. They thought it was someone else that had moved into his house because they didn't even recognize him. 80 pounds. That's a lot. Can you imagine carrying around 2 45-pound plates around with you in the gym? That's basically how much extra he was carrying around with him. All of that started because one of the first conversations we had was about the way that he talked to himself. Because he had a lot of issues from the past where he was talked to down negatively. And he started changing the way that he talked to himself. He started becoming the hero of his own story. And it starts there. Like, there's nothing that's impossible. I want you guys to be unrealistic. And the reason I say that is because when you give into the mediocre life and you give into society and you try and do realistic stuff, you're going to aim for very, very small goals. And before you know it, maybe you hit them, maybe you don't. But you just gave yourself the idea that that's all you can do. Because maybe you've tried before. Maybe you tried working out before. Maybe you tried, but something stopped you. Let this time be different. Let this journey be different. Like, you have to understand, you are the only one that can control your future, nobody else. Because if you think that it's your kids or your husband, then you're telling yourself that they are the reason why you won't succeed when you don't. And nobody deserves that. But that also means that you are the reason why you will succeed when you do. So whatever shortcomings you have right now, whatever is holding you back, whatever you keep playing around in your head and repeating out loud and saying out loud and talking about yourself and telling your friends like, oh, well, I'm just not this or I'm not that. Like, shut that voice up. Silence that inner critic and become your best friend. Become your biggest cheerleader. Talk to yourself like you actually give a damn about your life. Tell yourself that you can succeed. Go to bed at night and tell yourself, tomorrow I'm going to wake up early. Program your mind. The way that you talk to yourself matters. Thank you for your time.
And that brings us to the end of another episode of the VetRise Podcast. If today's episode inspired you, made you think, or simply just gave you hope, I have a small favor to ask. Share it with just one veteran or someone you think could benefit from my message. Your share could light a spark for them. You don't know who you might save. For more insights and to join this mission, follow my socials at JP the Veteran Coach and explore how we can rise together. Thank you for joining us, for being part of this journey, and for believing in the power of rising together as veterans. Until next time, keep pushing forward, keep rising, and never forget we are stronger together. My name is Juan Perez, and thank you for your time.